But maybe that's the impossible for you. Okay, well, we are back from spring break, and many of you had a great time on vacation. Some of you just slept. We went to Costa Rica. So first, let me say thank you for your support. I know, I said Costa Rica, didn't I meant Chicago. Anyway, thank you for your support. Many of you were praying for us. Many of you actually gave money toward this. And it's a tradition in the church, coming straight out of the book of Acts, that missionaries you support come back and give a report of what they've done. And so we're going to follow that tradition here this morning. So missions team, come on up. You guys, I'll have you sit on the stage over here. You guys can move up. We've got a PowerPoint that we'll show you here in a minute. Before we do that, one of the things we did at some of the local churches we went to and homeless shelters and whatnot is we had preaching, we had testimonies, we also had skits. And we're going to perform one of those for you right now. The idea is we're teaching people about the grace of God. And we started off normally by singing Amazing Grace. And we talked about how amazing grace really is. It's the idea that God loves me despite of my sin. Despite of my rejection of Him, He still offers me the hope of salvation. And we said that's a really difficult concept to wrap your mind around. It's even difficult when you are a child.
Alright, class, I'm going to be your substitute Sunday school teacher this morning.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Billy. Like to go?
Okay. Well, your real teacher couldn't be here.
Yeah, she was talking to the erasers.
Did you have anything to do with that?
Maybe.
Well, class, I was looking over the curriculum. The pastor called me this morning and asked if I could fill in. I didn't feel like I had a choice, so here I am. We're going to be talking about grace this morning.
Oh, Grace, I know Grace.
You know what grace is?
Yeah, she's in my other class.
No, this is a different type
Yeah,
of
I like her.
No, this is a different type of
She's pretty.
No, this is a different type of grace, okay? Grace is like, well, I'll teach you through a song.
Oh, okay.
It's about a man named Zacchaeus.
Oh, Zachariah.
Zacchaeus.
Zucchini.
Zacchaeus.
Zoology.
Just stick with me, buddy. Zacchaeus, okay?
Suzu.
Alright, hang in there. Jesus showed grace to Zacchaeus.
Oh, yeah, Jesus is nice.
Yes, yes, he is. Okay, here's how the song goes. It goes like this. Okay. Zacchaeus was a wheel. Bill, what's wrong? What's the matter?
Said we.
Alright, Billy, how old are you?
4.
Need to be mature for. Alright, more mature. More mature. Alright, there we go. Alright. Zacchaeus was a wheel. Billy, we mean small.
It means something else, too.
Alright. Mature for. More mature. 95 years old. Alright, there we go. Alright. Zacchaeus was a wheel of the man. The wheel of the man was he.
You said wee-wee.
Yeah, I did. My bad. Okay, mature for. More mature. Almost dead. Alright, there we go. Zacchaeus was a wheel of the man. The wheel of the man was he. He climbed up in a sycamore tree.
What did you say?
He climbed up in a sycamore tree.
What's wrong with the tree?
There's nothing wrong with the tree, Billy. He climbed up in a sycamore tree.
You said it was sick, and now it's getting worse. It's sick more.
No, I didn't.
This is a horrible song. It's about dying trees, and you're teaching it to children. Mickey Mouse doesn't sing songs like that. You hate the forest.
Billy, listen to me. More mature. More in the grave. Sycamore is the name of the tree.
It was sick because there was wee-wee on, isn't it?
No. Zacchaeus was a wheel, and the wheel of the tree. He climbed up it and up.
Oh, okay. I like those trees. They're okay.
Yeah. But the Lord, He wanted to see.
Oh, Jesus coming.
Here he comes.
Wait, he can't come. I don't have my bow tie on.
No, in the song. Jesus is coming in the song. And as that Savior passed that way.
Here comes Jesus.
Yeah, he's coming. He's going to bring grace with him.
I didn't know she knew him.
No, just hang with me. So as that Savior passed that way, he looked up in the tree and he said, Zacchaeus.
You quit wheeling on trees because you're killing me.
Grace is hard to understand as children, but even as teenagers, you still don't quite get the concept.
Hey, Becca. Hey, Sarah. Hey, so I'm just getting ready to go in class. No, wait. Before you go in there, you're my young leader, so I should be able to come to you about these things. The last question on Bible study is making sense. Well, it's based on Romans 8:38 and 39, right? Right. And the answer to the last question, what can separate you from the love of God? The answer's not in there.
It is. It's one word.
It's not in there.
It is. It's right there.
I read it. It's not in there.
I'm telling you, it's in there, Sarah.
Okay, Bobby woman, show me.
Well, we could do that in there.
Show me.
All right. Romans 8:38. It says, "For I am convinced that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor any created thing will be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Jesus Christ our Lord."
See, it doesn't say.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It's one word.
Exactly.
It says nothing.
Exactly.
That's the word.
Exactly.
No, no. It's nothing.
Nothing.
Yes, it's nothing.
So, no, don't give me nothing. Give me something.
I'm trying to tell you that the something is nothing.
What planet do you come from where something is nothing?
Here it is. Something is nothing.
Oh, that's great. So you want me to go in there and do nothing?
Yes.
So you'll call me. You'll be like, hey, Sarah, what do you think? And I'll just be like, nothing.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, hey, Sarah, what do you think the answer is? And I'll just go,
Well, if you did that, then you wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. And no. What I want is I want you to go in there and I want you to say something.
well, what do you want me to say?
Nothing.
I don't care if you're a cough. I want to punch you.
I'm trying to help you out here. I'm your youth leader. I'm just trying to help.
You want me to go in there and do nothing?
No. I want you to go in there and I want you to do something. If that something is what you use to say nothing, and if you say nothing, then that, my friend Sarah, that nothing is really something.
You're a freak.
Nothing.
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 You said nothing.
Nothing.
But not for me, because I'm not like that.
Nothing.
But I'm not like just last night.
Nothing.
But not me, I'm not.
No matter what you put out there as if you forgot not to love you, there's nothing that can separate you from the love of God. Nothing.
As children, grace is difficult. As teenagers, grace is difficult, but don't feel bad. Even the disciples themselves had difficulty with this idea.
Jesus, I can't believe it's you. I mean, you're right here. You're alive. You were crucified and in the tomb, and now you're right here. I knew it when I put the net on the other side of the boat, and all these fish came. I thought, who could have done that? Then I look on the shore, and you're there saying, it is I, the Lord. I can't believe you're here. What are you doing?
You love me.
Oh, yes, Jesus. I love you with everything that I am. I mean, I can't believe you're alive. I mean, you're right here on the shore looking at me. Oh, how I love you with everything that I am.
You love me.
Yes, Jesus. I love you, and I'm so sorry for running away. I'm so sorry for the whole rooster thing. I didn't know. You said a rooster would cluck, and it did cluck.
Peter,
Yes.
you love me.
Jesus, mere words cannot describe the passion that I have for you. With everything that I am, I love you. With everything that I have.
The feet not sheep.
I didn't know you had lives.
Peter, the day that the Marys came home from work, do you remember what happened?
Oh, yes. They came running up, and it sounded like she was saying, beehive, beehive, beehive. And I'm allergic to bees, so I'm like, keep them out, if you know what I'm saying. But as she kept getting closer, I heard her saying, he's alive, he's alive. She went to the tomb, and the angel of the Lord was there. And if John says he beat me, he's totally lying, because I beat him. And we got there, and the angel of the Lord said, go tell the disciples and Peter that everything is okay. He is risen.
What did the angel say?
He said to go and tell the disciples and Peter that everything is okay. He is risen, and you're risen.
I know, what did he say?
He said to go and tell the disciples and Peter. Peter. He said my name. He said my name. After I denied you 3 times and ran, he said my name. Why did you say my name? I totally left you. Why do you say that?
Peter, that's grace. It's not about you. You can't do anything too bad. It's not about what you've done. It's about what I just did. I say your name because I love you, Peter. It's forgiven. It's forgotten. That's grace.
Okay. So, that's, we did that, I don't know how many times. But I'm going to ask if you guys can come this way so everyone can see you. And we did a PowerPoint here, kind of talking about what exactly we did from day to day. And some of these guys are going to explain just that. So first, Isaac's going to come up. But before we get to Isaac, we kind of had a theme throughout. A theme. Your greatest ability is? Flexibility. Your greatest ability is flexibility. We found that oftentimes when we showed up to the different locations we were at, we were scheduled to do one thing, but didn't quite work out that way. We found ourselves doing things a little differently. And so we decided we would just be flexible with all of that instead of mumbling, complaining, or groaning, right? Right, yeah. Okay. So, our first day was on Saturday, and we spent the day in Chicago, downtown Chicago. Isaac is going to come up and share with us a few things that we did that day.
Well, so we went to the Bean, saw the Bean. It's a big mirror that looks like a bean in a park. And then after that, we went to eat pizza at the Dorno. It's really good fish pizza. Then we basically, all day we walked around with sightseeing, and then we went shopping. And we went to night in town, and some of the girls went to Forever 21. And we went home.
So,
That's what the Bean.
Avery, you want to explain that?
It's just a statue guy, which wasn't supposed to do. But then he was over and the kissing sound was kind of freaking out a little. Little statue's not supposed to do.
So she got freaked out by a statue. Picture of George Washington, and for some reason Xander felt that. Okay, River of Life Church. We did a lot there that day. This was on Sunday. And we gave testimonies. I can see some pictures from that. We did a song. We did, what, 2 songs? I did 2, right? No, 1. I don't remember what we did. We did some skits. We did a youth service at in the evening. And usually when we talk about youth services, we're thinking teenagers, but we found out they meant really young youth, like elementary school, junior high. So that kind of threw us for a loop, but we put on, I think we had some fun there. A couple of pictures. This is Carly, Kate, and Corbin, as they gave their testimonies that day. Abby and Sarah sang. We did another skit up there. That we can do here. That's, what was it, the Navy game? With all the people over there. There was just a large group, whether it's elementary school kids, teenagers, adults, they just all joined in this youth service. I'll go back to, all right, anyway. One of the things that I think stuck out about that church, it was like, the pastor was barefoot, which I wasn't used to. And that would be normal. That would be so bad except he was hopping in the air. People were waving flags and palm branches. The flag thing is normal, the palm branch is the palm Sunday. And how would you guys describe?
Every time you said something, you'd be like, wow. It's all loud.
Oh, he got good at coming back too.
He said I can't get back because I'm not gritty.
Oh, they have visions.
You can't hear.
That should be the second one in number 7.
This is what happened when Paul is up here and not back there.
They had visions, like they had dreams about, like they think they were righteous dreams. Like the guy, he had a dream about a bunch of colored planes were in the sky, and a bunch of people were underneath it, and they were holding up the planes as they crashed. And I don't know what it represented, but he said it was like a dream from God.
Well, they also, this church is actually building its own airplane, which was quite interesting. Some of you guys took a look at that. So that was our first day there on Sunday. The church was very welcoming to us, though. Very encouraging and really welcomed us in. So our second day was obviously Monday. And we spent most of the day at Harbor Light Salvation Army. And, who's supposed to talk about? Sarah and Adam, yeah.
Okay, so basically we got there and they wanted us to cook a lunch for they had like a drug rehab sort of program, and we basically cooked a lunch for the people that were in that, and then we reorganized the library.
While we were in the kitchen, this Chef Green, you can see up there, he taught like half of us how to cut an onion properly. Like if we did it wrong, he'd be like, pick it up again, or put it down, pick it up. And he accused Sarah of being afraid of the onion because she kept picking it up a little bit. And he taught us how to like do it properly, how to cut it, and if you weren't doing it right, he made you do it over.
It wasn't a knife, it was a sword. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we organized our entire library. I think Mr. Thompson had a lot of fun doing that.
That's Chef Green up there. You can't really see it very well, but he was a very loud person. And reminded Sarah quite often that the onion is dead. She was quite afraid. Corbin, however, did a good job before the chef. I could have filled it in. You see the serving line there. I don't know what Mr. Mulder is laughing at.
Oh, we had fried steak. I've never had that before. And we put it in like a sandwich. Yeah. It's really weird. Never had it.
Some of them were having ketchup sandwiches. I noticed. That was a little weird. But... So yes, we were reorganizing the library. Okay. Uptown Baptist Church is where we were at that night, and Carly and Becca are going to kind of fill us in on that.
At Uptown Baptist Church, every Monday night they give food to the homeless, but before the homeless could get their food, they'd have to listen to about a half-hour sermon, and so at that church we sang songs and did skits.
Yeah, it was really fun to be able to do the skits and stuff for the people, and some of them seemed fairly receptive, but some of them wanted nothing to do with it, so that was kind of sad, but that's kind of what you get.
So tell us about the songs, because there was something that was kind of thrown in at us there.
Oh, and then some of the songs, like, people would just be like, shouting stuff about Amazing Grace and just would start singing along with us.
I was thinking of something else, but...
Some guy, interesting character, he just started yelling out, "Say, sit down." That's Xander.
Zacchaeus. There was a guy there who wanted Adam and Xander to get to the point. And so he was trying to, speed them up a little bit, I think. So up here, there's a picture of, you can't see it at the piano, but behind Mr. Mulder is a guy named Mark. I think Mark was his name. His name is Mark, and if it's not, then you won't ever know the difference. Mark was the guy who normally does the music there. He wanted to sing with us, and so we kind of added an extra song that some of us didn't know all the words to, but the rest of us decided to go ahead and do it anyway. I can't remember the name of the song. Here I Am to Worship. And so he wanted to sing with us, and so we did that. Adam, you remember the glowing angel up there, apparently. Pastor Jonathan. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, he was like this Asian dude. He was like really good speaker, and he started singing. Like he just randomly started singing what he was talking about. And you're like, wow, this guy's a really good singer. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm gonna sing a song, and he goes to the piano and he starts playing like really, really good. And I'm like, what can't this guy do? He's just like the awesome Asian. He was the most interesting man I've ever met. Yes, I said that.
He's losing his glow.
He's glowing.
He was quite the speaker. Again, that's fine. Yeah, he kind of surprised us with his singing voice. We weren't expecting that towards the end, but he talked to us for just a few minutes after. All right. The next day we were at Chicago. In fact, Tuesday and Wednesday both we were at another Salvation Army that helped homeless and disadvantaged in the community. And Paul and Corbin are going to take this one.
Well, we started off the day by just doing some cleaning and stuff around there, and we cleaned up the parking lot a little bit, and a group of people packed some food. And then, I think it was the same day but later, we had this like carnival thing where all the kids on spring break could come and play and get candy and have a good time. And then we went up and did like this sort of message type thing, but it was really cool because the kids, they were just like so receptive. They loved it. Like everything that we did, they just had so much fun. It was a blast.
I actually had some fans at that. It's hard to believe, but I had like this kid that would sit in front of my game and like keep coming back for more candy. He was carrying around like 3 bags of candy at the end. We did a 20-minute like VBS like program. We did the skit and did a few kids songs and crafts, and then the next day we came back and we did the food pantry until I think 2.
So here are some of the packing, and that door was kind of cool. There was just a door on the wall.
The door is amazing.
And so to throw out the trash, you had to climb up the wall, up through this door. Then you had to see what your people were there. This was one of my favorite children at the carnival. He was just happy. He had his popcorn, he had his candy. He didn't really speak English very well.
I don't think he spoke any English.
No, I don't think, yeah. But he kind of made it like his own rules at each of the carnival games we were at. But he was a fun kid. In fact, during our song time upstairs, Sarah and Abby were leading it, and all of a sudden, they're doing motion songs, and all of a sudden he just got up out of his seat, came over, and joined them up there. I had Kate sit with him. He liked Kate. And Kate had to get up at one point. Kate took his candy away, so that was a distraction. Well, she's put it aside. He trusted Kate. But as soon as Kate got up to take somebody to the restroom, it was emergency. Oh no. He was looking frantically for his candy that she had put underneath his seat. Which is great, but he was sitting in the front row while I'm speaking. The kids were very receptive. It was interesting that they didn't really, this was a group that had some sort of Christian influence, but I asked them, what is Easter all about? And none of them came up with Jesus. It took them a little while. And I asked them if the murder was wrong, and they said, or was it right or wrong? They all said right. different kind of neighborhood, I guess. But they were very receptive. That even I was worried. We were expecting a little more to come, so we had just tons of candy. And some of these kids were walking around with 3 bagfuls of candy. I'm thinking, great, we just basically fed them up with sugar, and now we're expecting them to sit through me. But they all did, which proves it can be done.
That's right.
You can sit through Mr. Thompson. I don't know who that is. Okay, I know Avery. I don't know who this person is. Back at one of the carnival games. I've never seen Xander so popular. Long line. Isaac, do you want to explain that?
Well, one of the little girls decided that she wanted to put stickers on my shirt,
So Isaac became craft time.
Yeah.
Some of the food pantry pictures. Avery and my wife, I think, were that day the hardest working people there. Inundated with people. They had to come in. If you're looking for food, you had to come in. You had to register with Avery and Mrs. Thompson first. And Mr. Beefus, my wife wanted to let you know that Avery had to double check with her about how to say certain Spanish numbers. So you might want to take care of that. Because most of the people, a lot of people there were speaking Spanish. Is Mr. Mulder found out as well? All right, the Youth Detention Center Mr. Mulder is going to talk about. And we only actually have one picture of this. But
what is a detention center? It's a jail for people who are not adults. And the reason we only have one picture is because we are not allowed to take pictures inside. So this is a picture of the sign outside, and then we went inside. And we had to go through gates and security, and there's wire on the fences and that kind of stuff. And they have 50 girls that are there right now. So we all went into a library, and then they came later on, set up a chair, and they came in as well. I would say it was the most difficult part of our trip. Not because it wasn't good, because the audience was not receptive in many ways. I mean, these girls are not there. I mean, they're there maybe because they're in jail. We are praying as a group that the Word of God, which was very clearly spoken to them, will have an effect. And also, it was disappointing also that the guards, or whatever they're called, the people who are in charge of these girls, also seem to be very hard, very cold, and so forth. But maybe you have to be when you're in that situation. You got to be tough, otherwise you get run over by these kids. In my opinion, as looking at them, a lot of them seem to be kind of game kids. But maybe that's my own take on it. But a lot of slouching in chairs, a lot of sleeping, a lot of very apathetic. So it was hard, but it was good because, again, the Word of God was there. And in some ways, when Mr. Thompson was speaking, I always felt this darkness kind of come over. It was a real weird feeling, as if we're in a place that the light is not here. And it was really good to see the light come and hopefully be used there somehow, sometime.
that's interesting for Mr. Mulder to say because he cut my message short. We were told we were supposed to have an hour, and we really only had about 45 minutes. And so during my message, all of a sudden, Mr. Mulder got up and he hit the cut it sign.
Mr. Thompson, want me to tell the story about your favorite movie?
No, we gotta move on. Okay. Pacific Garden Mission, Avery.
So, the Pacific Garden Mission is kind of like the Salvation Army, but it's bigger. Where we went there and it was like a bedroom for like homeless people or people without a home. And they also like fed them food, but they also gave them like a church service. Like it was a mandatory church service like 3 times before each meal, that if they wanted food, they had to go and listen to the speaker speak. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. But while we were there, we just kind of like made, what, how many beds? 500? We made 500 beds, and we kind of helped with the food a little bit.
and we kind of swapped a little, and we did that skit, the gray skit we just did now to them, and they seem to enjoy it. But yeah, that's about all I got.
Some bed baking. There we are out in front. It was hard to stop speaking at this place, but I had to. They actually, before we were able to perform, I had to talk with one of the lead pastors there. All of a sudden I was ripped out of cleaning, and what I can only term as a doctrinal inquisition for a few minutes. He had never heard of our school, wanted to know basically a rundown of our doctrinal statement, our beliefs, our statement of faith, what church I went to, what I believed, and finally he was satisfied with the answer. So they were serving lunch there. And all right, finally we have our togetherness times. So Kate and Xander will talk about that. Xander's going to start us off.
Yep. Okay, we had morning devotions. We all got to know each other very well. We had a good time together. We had to wake up at 7 a.m. for breakfast, and we had a lot of fun on the bus rides. I think Adam started this stupid British accent thing, and it was killing me. Yeah, the whole team was doing it. It was terrible. Just painful either way.
Okay, and then we went over our devotions at night, and we just sort of hung out as a team. And like he said, we actually know each other very well. And we played many games. And that's about it.
And I figured out the broom game. If you don't know the broom game, after after 5 years, I figured it out. That was the highlight of the trip.
It wasn't my fault either.
It was really Kate's fault. Some various pictures. This was at dinner one night. That's our, I think that was our game time. Carly found a new footrest. Thought I'd put up that for Mr. Beefus. We passed by Soldier Stadium. Was it Soldier Field? And then, yeah, as was already mentioned, for some reason, half of our team decided to speak the entire time with British accents, including giving performances at Pacific Garden Mission during chapel. Sarah breaks out accidentally into her British accent, which was quite comical. Well, there's lots more we could say, but the bell has already rung. And next year, we'll be going back to Costa Rica. As Mr. Trinilia already mentioned, today at lunch, there'll be a meeting in Mr. Brookheis's room for anyone who's interested in Costa Rica next year. All right, you are dismissed.